is actually we're reading a pasuk in the Sifra de Tzniuta, which is up there by that boxed olive. He said, "Dikna menusa." So what's to describe what it is, this beard of menusa? So we got really over to number Dalet, and this area that we're learning in. I mean, we've been learning this for about 3 years. This same kind of material is that the piece that we're dealing with is always handled by the makoros of its yunim. So basically, although we're looking, I'm seeking, more detail in everything. These are really mostly site references and various different kinds of places where you could see the ideas promulgated in different places. Now, just reading from the beginning here again, it says dikna de mehamenusa. So you said, what is the dikna of mehamenusa? A dikna shel Erik Anpin nikra zakan ha'amuna. It's the beard of faith. Now, I put a reason on that yesterday because it's the first that in Olam Atzilut, which we're going to understand, is the first distancing for the Ein Sof. And so perhaps that's the first place that you need faith to realize where you came from. So we learned number Gimel yesterday, who shachadikna de Erik Anpin, who harosh to kol Atzilut, ka'ashef of ha'or shal rosh Atzilut, so the shefa that comes at the very top, which is the Atzilut, Gugalta umuchus timo, mizgalna bedikna de Erik Anpin, they're revealed in the beard of Erik Anpin. Now let's find number Dalet down below and see if we can get any of these. Once again, mostly site references. That's the main thing to understand, is that this is someplace hidden, but we understand it's labeled. Somehow we're able to, I guess it's the Amunah, to look back at from where we came from. In other words, it's more or less, I'm thinking, that our backs are to this. And as a result of that, once its stilus begins, its back, so to speak, is towards wherever, the Mukhstimo. So it has to come, the beard has to come from the brain. RASHBI comes over there, so therefore in the beard, you also see the Zayin Tikunim, the Gogolta of the skull, Kamot Shiniz Bar B'Sifra Tzniut to the Ale. We apparently saw this already. That particular phrase, Ad Yekira de Yerkusa, until it comes to this new phrase, the most precious, the preciousnesses. That's my words. Ayin Sham B'Ha'arush B'Shem, the Mabusharim. There's lots and lots of good stuff in the Mabusharim. Let's read on again. We have mostly what we're getting at here is the origins of the ideas that as we can explain it. And then from the beard, all of the rest of Atzilut, the lower parts of Atzilut, get the shefa. So understand that Atzilut, that's what I'm trying to deal with. It's called faith. Let's look at number Hey down below. He says Inyan Atzilut shenikra menusa. So he said, if you want to know, you go to Sefer the Kutim, he says over there, and he gives a side reference in Betuk the Baros, he says this, Baraza de Meranusa, in the secret of faith. Why do you need faith? Faith, so again, I'm trying to make this metaphor when I say that it's as if Atzilus has its back. There's a certain level of darkness here that is hidden from the light, the source of the light, Baraza, which is the secret of faith. Because that's the name of Atzilus Ad Kan Ayin Sham V'Rei Mashin is Bar B'Zem Be'Oz. We're going to get more on that idea. And we continue on, let's see, from number Hey down below. Let's start from number Hey. Where is it? Here he says, so the beard is really the very beginning of Atzilus. Okay, he says that is the beard of Erik Anpin. So he said that is the Erik Anpin of Atzilus. Shachadigna de Erik Anpin who Rosh Amuna. This is the head of where faith begins. Let's look at number Vav and have a little arichos on number Vav. It's going to once again, they're mostly Makorets for Tziyunim. He says. So what we want to look at is in the Mabusharim. Now the Mabusharim, it would be nice if they had a Pirush on the Mabusharim that really helped out. He says, She'erik Anpin Nikra Resha de Mehinusa, this is where we see the words. This is the actual language of it. V'zecha she'ava b'zohar b'parshas Pekudi. Shirusel de Mehinusa, where they have really the beginning of faith. So that is the beginning. Why you need faith? So that's what I'm trying to answer. Why do you need faith? What's faith is important because it's a certain amount of darkness there, and you can't see where you came from. Ki Eric Anpin Shuhu Resha de Shirusa de Menusa, that he is the head of the beginning of faith. Ad Kan. Now this is a whole concept there. Let's go on to number Vav. Over number Vav Shadikna Derek Anpin who Rosh Hamuna. This is number Zion. I read wrong. So he says, "V'lechein nikra zakana muna ka'amor the amar od dikna." Dikna. Now he goes in a different direction over here, and he says the word dikva. So he says benidvas in the original publication mukafis milas dikna. So they have apparently parenthesis around that besogri. Mishum the lisach bekol ha'adefusim ka'kadmonim, because it doesn't agree in the very original, or the word dikna was not mentioned here. So lo idkar. So it just would have said it's not mentioned. You have to figure out what is not mentioned. And you see up above, and I'm just looking up above. I'm just so far behind. I'm sorry. I apologize. He says that the word dikna is in brackets up above or in parentheses. So so in original it only said lo idkar. Dikna besogrim mishum the lesa bekol the fusim hakagadmonim, and where are those places? He says that's Mantova, I'm pronouncing that up, and Cremona, etc., and all of those places that we saw in the north of Italy. So this is added on into this particular, that Sifra, I guess. It's also said the Groa. Mihu yesh the sign that the bekizvich Arizal the Bechar Mamari RASHBI, we have this. Listen, you don't see, once again, you don't see it. Yesh the sign Shal Ramaz, so we have to really point this out, that the Ramaz Kosevi wrote this. Shemistafe Sifra Sveka. Now what does that mean? It's sufficient that we got into, there's a doubt here. It's a doubt of Sveka. Al-Ktsas Golos, there are some apparently versions of this. Golos of Shachar B'Derek and Sefer Shemos with the name of in the book of names. The Haim Laharizal or Golos Kadmonim. Whether this is actually coming, there's a difference of machlok, not machlok, but a attempt to understand where it came from. The Ari, or came from before him. Hagam ki rovel mishal katzasa goes elu maskim in the different Arizal, but most really agree with the Arizal, but Mekom Secherim in other places. So it says mostly everybody agrees with the Ari, but it is split. That people say that it doesn't belong there. V'im came al kol panim. So if so, then in any case, he says, after the Gam HaSifra the Tzniusahu B'klal Sefer Shemos, so it also goes in the same category of that book of names. Ki Nidbad B'sof Parshas HaTruma, that was written at the end of that Parsha of the Zohar. L'fi Zecha V'yesh Lomer, the Hagor Khan Dikna Eina L'Harizal. So the fact that we have the word Dikna here, that's really not the way the Rizal really had it. That's over there. But actually it didn't originate, I guess that's what he's saying, it didn't originate with the Ari, but in fact it really came from before the Ari. That is the reading, the way they read it, the people who came before the Ari, meaning, of course, that the Sifra Tzniuta existed, approximately 1,500 years before the Ari came along. Hagam, the Sveikas Ramaz who rock Sveika b'miyut canal. In other words, the doubts that he casts there are really a doubt of a doubt. So it's not clear. Let's go on for number Zion and read over it. We'll try to find number Ches. Yeah, and it says lo idkar shadigna de Eric Anpen lo nizker bepasuk shahare. So this is a new idea. He says that there's no place in psukim in the written Torah that has a remiss to the word dikna. It doesn't say the word dikna anywhere. Lo metzinu kinu is zakan b'shum makom b'torah v'devim v'kesuvim. We don't see it. V'lo od al ravina dikna hatachton. Okay, we got another break coming up here. So even the dikta hatachton the zer anpin. So go on, pick it up again. Here it comes like this. So he says ella afilu dikta hatachton the zer anpin. Now let me get this back here 1 second. He says below od ella afilu dikta hatachton the zer anpin lo niska b'pasuk. It's also not mentioned. Now the question for me was I really don't know how I would see in the pasuk different attributes that refer to Eric Anpin or attributes that refer to Zer Anpin. I need help on that. I don't know which, how to distinguish between the two. But here he says that. So he says Hiskir B'Shir Ashirim Shar Evari Kuma Zer Anpin. He mentions over there all the different kinds of limbs of Eric Anpin. Could go on, for example, Rosh Kasim. So he's Rosho Kasim. He's a Kasim like Kasim Paz. So like pure gold or something like that. Eidach Kiyonim, his eyes are like doves. He said, because those lo hizkir zakan. But even though all of the things that you find over there in the Pasukim and Shir Hashirim, he says they doesn't mention the word beer one time, the Zer Anpin. Ela hizkir alachoya, but it mentions his cheeks. I looked this up in the art scroll, and the art scroll has the word lachayev as his the word bed, bed, a bed of rows of incense or perfume. So here, but we know that it really refers to the cheek, shehu b'makom b'dikna, which is the place where the beard really develops right at the cheek. Let's see, we have a couple of minutes. Let's look over here at number ches. Number ches has a big arichos. We get started with it, and we'll look at it again next time. Rei b'shar mamari RASHBI, he says. Look over there. He says, and basically, we know the idea. We know what he wants to say. He wants to say that these are references to where we know that it's not mentioned. Lo idkar, he said, go back onto that. It's not mentioned. Pirush. Alfida b'zer anpin. Lo idkar b'shir hashirim kida isa b'idra rabba. So does that mean to say that in Shir Hashirim, those mentions of the different limbs is really referring to zer anpin? But begin the ichu yikira the timira bekula, because it's really the most precious, the most hidden part of it. Lo idgara bebecha ba'ansa d'oraisa. So there's no place as a result of that. It's returning once again back to the concept that there's nothing there. He says there's nothing there, d'oraisa, because the things that are most precious or really have no physicality, but is gali, and they don't reveal themselves. So he says of the daf kuf lamatas on the base, it says like this is language, that Shlomo only got to the cheeks. That's all he talked about. But here's what we have over here. Is everything that gets hidden away and does not state it, is not revealed. Again, whose songs and veganas, and that's the reason why it's hidden away. Now let's talk about that. This is the most precious of all. The Nizar Krov is Galia. So there we understand that there's something beyond our ken, something beyond our ability to be able to hear what it's saying, and so therefore it's not mentioned at all. So it's hidden away then. That's a quote over there. So then let's go over here, but or Yakar. Now we'll pick these up at a different place. We'll get them in the back probably. L'chalon, Reish Peri Gimel, and he says, what is a Shabir Vizelda Shon Hazakan Lo Nizgala of Afilu Shlomo Hamela B'Tikulich of Zohar B'Doch B'Hizkiram Elo Halimo. So he said, Omar, so he said, in other words, there is something, this faith has something beyond it. And that is the faith that we need. That's my drush. L'chaya v'ka'urukas of boshin, so he says on his cheek, like roses of perfume. Rem is Ramas ba'alma, so it's really just I don't know, when he says ba'alma, it means, well, it means common. So it's a common reference. The dikna, it's making a kechalachayim hu b'makom tikun revi. So the cheeks are in the place of the fourth tikkun of the beard of Erakan, the Pirsha favors Zakan, but it doesn't say the word Zakan. Adkan. Okay, so that's it right there. I guess we're finished. That was the shir for today. I think that's the shir for today. I'll hold for a second in case that was an interruption. There's a few more words I could throw in. Let's see. We'll go to 638. It's 637 according to me. And I guess that's it. Okay, this is Baruch Fleischman. It's a Tikkun Elevator Kolo, and we're going to come right back into this again. Try to find the references of how we know that this is the definition. Why is it, as he said over here, that the name beard is not mentioned anywhere in the written Torah?